So point slope form is just another way to write equations. So the other day we were talking about slope intercept form because it has the slope and the y-intercept visible or in the equation. Point slope form is going to have the two things that you think it would have, point and slope. So these are the two things. Oops. Sorry, there's the bell. The two things needed are point and slope. So you will always, like I said, need a point. So it's going to be set up like a coordinate, x, comma, y. Sorry, you know all my different colors. And then the equation, and it seems weird, but once you do it a little bit, it's actually not too bad. So x comma y, and then you're going to do y. Remember, equations always have a y in them. So it's y minus the y coordinate. So it's the y coordinate of that point equals the slope parentheses x minus the x coordinate. Oops, sorry you couldn't see it. So it's y minus the y coordinate, whatever the y coordinate is, equals the slope, and you know how to find the slope because we've been working on that for a couple of weeks. Then parentheses x minus the x coordinate. So now, if I told you write the point slope form, for a line that has a slope of 2 and a point at 1, 4. So it would be y minus the y coordinate of that point. So the y coordinate of that point is 4, so it would be y minus 4 equals, it says the slope is 2, so I'm going to do 2 parentheses x minus the x coordinate, which is, sorry, I can't figure out what color I want, 1. So that is the point slope form. Now the reason we do this is because if you can't see your y-intercept on your graph or on the information that they gave you, this is what you can use to find it. So what you're going to do is you're going to actually like multiply this out and end up just solving for y. So I'm going to go ahead and say write into slope intercept form. So y minus 4 equals 2x minus 1. So remember, when we solve these, first thing you need to do is distribute. So step 1 is distribute. So then 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. That y minus 4 stays there. Then the next step is solve for y. So if I'm solving for y, what's the opposite of subtract 4? Add 4. Now I can't add it to the 2x because the 4 doesn't have an x, so I'm going to add it to the 2. So it'd be y equals 2x. Negative 2 plus 4 is just 2. Sorry, there's the bell again. Can't remember if you could see this or not. So step 2, solve for y. Step 1 was distribute. So notice y equals 2x plus 2. That is in slope-intercept form. This is the slope, which you can see right there because we said that was the slope. And then the 2 is the y-intercept. So you're not always going to be given a graph or a line that shows you the slope and the y-intercept. So that's why you can use point slope form. You just pick one of the points on the line, or if it gave you a point, and then it will give you the slope. Okay, so if we're finding the equation between 2 points. So if I have the point 2, 5 and the point 6, 1, you can use the slope formula where you do y2, y minus y divided by 6 minus 2, x minus x. You can do it that way. I personally think it's easier if you just put the 2 points in a table, 2, 5, and 6, 1, and just find the change like you always do. From 5 to 1, that goes down 4, or 1 minus 5 is negative 4, over 2 to 6 goes up 4. So I'm just doing it in the formula too so that you can see where they connect. Remember, you always do y is divided by x, so negative 4 divided by 4 equals negative 1. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and write it in point slope form. Now, some of you guys have gotten really good about writing the process column. If it doesn't tell you that you have to write it in point slope form first, like your project that you're going to be working on this week tells you have to be writing it in point slope form first, but if it doesn't tell you that and it just says write the equation, you can always use the process column. You can also use the process column to just check your work to make sure you did it right. So then it would be y minus. Now for your y coordinate, it doesn't matter which point you use because you're going to end up getting the same thing, but I'm going to always use the first point. So it's going to be y minus the y coordinate, which is 5, equals the slope, which is negative 1, parentheses, x minus the x coordinate, which is 2. So minus 2. Okay, so that's the point slope. Now I need to find the slope intercept. So I'm going to go ahead and do those steps that I just told you about just a minute ago. So I'm going to take that equation, y minus 5 equals negative 1 x minus 2. First thing you need to do is distribute. So negative 1 times x would be negative 1x. A negative 1 times a negative 2. A negative times a negative is a positive 2. Bring down the equal sign. Bring down the y minus 5. Okay, and then solve for y. I need to get y by itself because that's how our equations have always been set up. So the opposite of subtract 5 is add 5. And you can't add 5 here. You have to add 5 to the end. So then it would be y equals negative 1x. 2 plus 5 is 7. So that would be my equation. I'm going to go ahead and just use the process column just so that you can see it over here. So 2 to 5. We said the slope was negative 1, so it'd be negative 1 times 2, which is negative 2. And then plus what, or if you do 5 minus 2, 5 minus negative 2, sorry because I forgot the negative, would be 7. So I would have needed to add 7 to that to get 5. Let's try it with 6. Negative 1 times 6 plus 7. Let's see if it gives us 1. Negative 1 times 6 plus 7 is 1, which is correct. Okay, so that is Introduction to Point Slope Form.